right before this, I was walking the dog, the foster dog that we have, and I had a funny moment because I saw a ball on the street and a bunch of children who were upset.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, okay, I should go get that ball. So I went across the street and I got the ball. And then there were all these shrieking teens back on the other side of the street again who were like, the ball. And so I went back over there to throw the ball. And then I had this moment where I realized I'm holding a dog leash in one hand. And I have this, it's basically a volleyball-sized ball. And it might have been a volleyball, but they weren't playing volleyball with it. And I have to throw it over a 12-foot approximate fence to give it to these people. But what if I mess up in front of all these teens?
Oh no, the teens.
You ever have that kind of a feeling where you just suddenly realize that you're being asked to perform something you're not 100% about in front of a bunch of teens? It went totally fine, but I had that moment where I was like, how do I even throw this ball to them in this case? And so, but I threw it over there, I lobbed it, and I got called a legend, and that's how we do it in Oakland, and my dog received much praise, etc. So it all worked out, but I just...
There was a moment.
It was a moment where I was like...
real fear of being...
It was like, the teens.
Being dragged by these youth.
Yeah, because, it's always worrisome when you think someone's cooler than you for any reason. And in this case, they were cooler than me because they were youths.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's a new feeling for you, Jeffy.
Yeah, I've always been the coolest guy in any situation.
Always the coolest in the room. Yeah, I get that.
So your throw would have been perfect.
Yeah, it would have been amazing.
Exactly.
My throw did turn out to be pretty good. I came up with the lob idea where I just kind of arc it over my head. It worked well.
It's like the first time Superman loses his powers, he doesn't know what pain feels like.
Yeah, that's right. And then he goes, oops.
Those are the kinds of cool things I say all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always confident I'm the coolest guy in any room. I need to go change because I had a little bit of an accident. I'll be right back.
Speaking of being the coolest guy in the room.
Wow. That's me, coolest guy signing off. It's body time. This is episode 302 of Insert
Wait, you did
Credit.
body time last time.
Well, it's body time again.
Oh, okay.
It's episode 302 of Insert Credit, the only video game podcast anyone has ever heard of, therefore leaving our listeners with no alternative than to experience the horrible buzzer. I'm Alex Jaffe, and this is my only meeting today.
Oh boy, I'm Frank Cifaldi, and let's look at the calendar here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is one of 5 meetings I have today.
Oh, congratulations, Frank Cifaldi.
Do not congratulate me. It's awful.
That means business is booming, is what it sounds like.
It also means I took Monday and Tuesday off of this week. And everything had to be crammed in the rest of the week. That's actually what that means.
Frank booming business Cifaldi.
None of this generates income. Let's be clear. None of these meetings generate income for my nonprofit.
Business can be booming even if it's not bringing in money, and even if it's even if it's because you skipped 2 days.
It can just be exploding.
Yeah.
You can just have a miniature boom just for the heck of it.
Okay, I'm booming.
I'm Tim Rogers, and I have one more thing after this today.
Is this your first thing today?
No, this would be my 4th thing today. So,
business is booming.
Boom.
In my case, it is a little bit on the booming side. Yeah, unfortunately, I wish it weren't. I wish business were just kind of calmed a bit, but no, stuff is just too good over here.
Well, I'm Brandon Sheffield, and perhaps my business is not booming as much as others because this is my second meeting today, second of 2. There shouldn't be another one unless something comes up.
All right.
In which case, it would be a bad meeting.
Brandon, you're just kind of working on one thing, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's kind of why, I suspect.
How many things you working on, Frank?
I don't even know.
I mean, at least 5, I guess, I would say.
Yeah.
Lots of things, yes.
At least 5. Yeah.
At least 5 things.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on only one thing. It took significant effort to get to where I was working on only one thing, but that's what's happening right now.
One thing I hope you are working on is the topic to open this week's episode, because you won last week.
I completely forgot that I won, so let's table that for a little while.
Okay.
All I've been thinking about this entire week is how you won.
I had a question that might have been good. I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
something
Go
that
for it.
occurred to me like immediately before the show. Maybe you like this one, Brandon.
Maybe I do.
Every time a new video game, a hot new tape is announced on Twitter, there's always an avalanche of the same question pops up as the very first response to like a trailer launch. And I'm going to name a couple of video games that came out this year. And all of these video games had an overabundance, a superfluity of this question I'm about to mention. So those games include Diablo 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core 6, Street Fighter 6. Okay. All of these games had an avalanche of one question underneath their trailers on Twitter and other social medias, wherever like the trailer was posted or whenever there was an ad for it on Instagram, a whole bunch of this one question. What is the question?
Show me Switchport.
Switchport, yeah?
Switchport seems too easy, so I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, Switchport would be a 2019 question, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
Steam Deck compatible?
Steam Deck compatible is a decent question as well.
Yeah, I feel like there's not enough of them for an avalanche.
You're going to love this question when you hear it because it's going to blow your mind. Should I just tell you?
I need. Well, don't tell us yet. I want to know: are we on the right track with like availability on device?
I will say this: it is a yes/no question, and the answer is always no.
Interesting.
Given the way business works for the video game industry in the year 2023, as reported in recent findings by the Video Game History Foundation, the answer has to be no, or video game companies would be in big trouble.
Does it have to do with frame rate?
No.
No, it has to do with physical availability.
That would be question number 2.
That also happens, but I figured that wasn't the one.
Video game companies would be in big trouble if the answer was yes to any of these.
Is it, can I get a code?
Can I get a code? I'm just going to go ahead and answer it. So the Video Game History Foundation recently reported that 87% of video games are inaccessible, right? Or unavailable.
87% of classic video games, so things before 2010. How have we not talked about this on the show?
This is an interesting.
Okay.
The question is, let's repeat some of the game names: Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core 6. The avalanche of the question is: do I need to have played all of the other games in the series to appreciate this one? And it's always from just seemingly just like stone-facedly sincere people, right? And the answer is always no, right?
Yeah.
You do not have first of all, anybody who's played 2 Final Fantasy games knows you do not have to play all of them, unless, of course, it's Final Fantasy 13-2 or 10-2 or one that is an explicit sequel or one of the DLCs from Final Fantasy 15. I mean, I must have seen 100 people being like, do I need to play Final Fantasy 15 in order to appreciate Final Fantasy 16? And it's like, first of all, how have you not encountered the answer to that question yet? I guess that's not something they market or advertise in the advertisement for Final Fantasy 16, that you don't need to have played Final Fantasy 15.
It would be a weird thing to advertise.
It would be. It is like in the ancient times, that is one of the selling points of the Final Fantasy series, that they're all, disconnected. But I mean, like for something like Baldur's Gate 3 or Diablo 4, it's actually, I guess you can play Diablo 2 and 3 quite readily. But and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are also pretty easy to acquire these days. But Armored Core,
Yeah.
you don't need, like, if you had to play all 8, 9, 12 Armored Core games leading up to Armored Core 6 in order to play Armored Core 6, that would be a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, I think to play the first Street Fighter at this point, in terms of like paying for it, you might be able, there might be somewhere on like some Wii or like maybe
Street
there's
Fighter
an eShop.
30th, dude.
Dude.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That is still available. Okay. I worked on that.
Even so, the answer is clearly no. It's like you don't need to have played Street Fighter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You don't need to. You could just start with the 6th one. And then to see people sincerely answering the question, like, I think you could start with Street Fighter 6 if you like. Or you could try Street Fighter 4 or 5, where the community is more... It's like, what?
This will catch you up on the lore.
The lore.
Yeah,
You gotta know what Shadaloo is.
You will know what you need to know in order to be immersed in the story of 6.
So I've seen this question like a lot for Baldur's Gate 3 in particular, where it's like, I guess it's cool if you've played I played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, so I can't
played
really...
it back when the gate had hair.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
LMAO.
Yeah, thanks.
So it's like I played those games, so it's hard for me to imagine not having played them, given how exciting they were at the time. But it's like I couldn't imagine why someone would make a Baldur's Gate 3 and like have it be like slapping you in the face with really, really deep cut references to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 within the first 3 minutes or so, right?
Yeah.
To a point that just completely alienates people. Like that game is clearly made to make millions of dollars for millions of people, right? So it's like, I don't know, they're not gonna make you have to do all that homework. The Final Fantasy model was right all along. The game that doesn't require you to have played all the previous ones.
Yeah, and I think even with all the intertwining little narrative threads, I don't think you need to play any earlier Resident Evils
Evil
to play the new Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Even though it's like Jill's back, or here's Chris, or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter.
What's the longest running game series that does require you to play all the games in the series?
That's somewhere I hoped this discussion would go. I can't really think of one. Even the like Dragon Quest games, Zelda is a very long running game series, and you don't have to have played any of the previous ones for that.
Yeah, I think it's intentionally not that way for everybody. But
Maybe Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts is absolutely well, I would say Kingdom Hearts is like 80% a yes.
Yeah.
It's like if you haven't played 1 and 2 before 3,
I tried to play 3 and I was like, what is anything? I understand that these are Disney characters.
I think if you had played all the previous games, you would still think that.
That's probably true.
Oh, sure. I thought this game's nuts too.
Metal Gear?
But also Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of cuts you back to the 1980s, right? And Metal Gear Solid 4 was the future timeline. And
isn't it more that you get more out of it if you've played all of them, but you don't have to?
That's the ideal model, I guess, for the games these days, is you get more. It's not like a requirement. But like Kingdom Hearts 3 does start with several hours of
nonsense
stuff that really assumes you know everything about all the previous games.
Yeah.
So it's like Kingdom Hearts would be the closest to an absolute yes that I can think of. But you can still have a good time with that game. Quote unquote good time.
If you insist on, if you're really into Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I started like mentally making notes of like instances of this question with Final Fantasy VII Remake, where there was just when I got the Final Fantasy VII Remake and I tweeted, "Oh, I've got it," because they tell you you're allowed to tweet about playing it. And I'm like, I've got it. The only question people wanted answered was, should I play Final Fantasy VII first? Should I play the original first? And it's like, it was hundreds
It's
of
literally Final Fantasy VII. I mean, no.
Well, wait. I mean, did you play it, Frank? It's
the remake? No.
Here's a spoiler for Final Fantasy VII Remake, everybody. It's actually Final Fantasy VII 2. It's time travel.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
You kind of do have to play Final Fantasy VII.
Well,
first.
no, you don't. You don't have to.
You don't have to. Because when you're made aware of the time travel stuff, it's like very late in the game, and I guess if you're chill enough with it, you can be like, "Oh, cool."
But also, it doesn't really matter for your enjoyment of the game if you've finished Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation. It doesn't really.
I mean, I guess it would suffice to just be aware of Final Fantasy VII, which is hard not to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just being like aware of it in like an action figure sense, like the sense of a child who buys a Power Rangers toy or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, there's Cloud. I've heard of Cloud.
That's my favorite guy.
I played him in Smash Bros.
I mean, the fact that remake is in the title tells you up front that this is a remake.
It's true.
And that's really all you have to know.
Except it turns out it's a verb, not a noun, which is actually, that's a very Tetsuya Nomura-esque twist.
Mm-hmm. Good topic, Tim.
I have a question now.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Let's hear it.
See?
It's completely unrelated to this. I wonder if everyone could name 5 might be too many, but games that you could play anytime and just like load it up and have fun within like 15 minutes, and then you can leave. And it doesn't matter. You can just like, I enjoy playing whatever part of this game I can get into right now. Because I wind up with some sort of like mental load on certain games where I got to be in the right frame of mind, or I got to have enough time to really get into it or whatever. What are 5 of those games for each of you, if you can name 5?
I started a notepad file, so I will be quiet until I've finished my 5.
Okay.
This is a really stupid one, but every time I launch my Mister and I can't immediately think of a game to play, I dive into Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance for the Game Boy Advance. I don't know how that became like the game that I go to. But
that's what I find interesting is just sometimes something creeps up in that. So I'll say Gunstar Heroes, that's an obvious one for me, because it's just like, that's a game where not only can you just start right in, you also, after the first stage, can choose one of 3 other stages. And so you, in like 15 minutes of gameplay, you can have a varied experience in a short, quick time. So that's one for me that's very easy. But there are other ones like, I can have fun with any of the bump style East games, East Books 1 and 2, even if I'm not gonna finish it. And it's an RPG, it's an action RPG of all things, but I can play through the early parts of that just bonking into guys and have a good time.
I just really don't understand why it's Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance for me. It's like I run it on the emulator and I have fast forward on the right trigger, so I can fast forward through the egregiously glacially long opening cutscene.
Isn't that the one where it starts in the snow and you can step on that car and then the snow falls off of it?
That's Dawn of Sorrow. Oh wait, that's Dawn of Sorrow. I emphasized the wrong word there. Which is the sequel to Aria of Sorrow, but Harmony of Dissonance is the one with the really rockin' music. Marble Corridor.
Oh, right.
Mostly I launch it just to try to get to Marble Corridor so I can hear the Marble Corridor music blasting in my excellent speakers over here.
Yeah, that's cool.
But also firing up Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is also very common.
Yeah, that's a hot one.
Yeah, my list says Sonic until the slow level. So that could apply to any of the 2D Sonics.
That's true.
Sonic 1 until Labyrinth Zone, Sonic 3 until
the marble thing?
Marble Zone, yeah, or whatever that's called. The spinning top one.
Yep.
I usually get to Chemical Plant Zone, again, just to have that music blasting. And just kind of stand there for a bit.
Once I get to there, then it's like, well, I got to get to Mystic Cave Zone because that's the real hot one.
Yeah.
I don't know what Sonic 2's like brick wall zone is, actually.
Well, there is a fall in the water part of Chemical Plant Zone.
It's true.
And basically, I play Chemical Plant Zone, and then if I fall in the water, I just turn it off.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But usually I don't. Usually I can make it through. I can make it through Chemical Plant Zone. I usually make it to around Casino Night Zone before I just kind of, do something else. But also, I do very frequently launch Battle Garega as well, which is a good one to have.
That's a hot one.
Gotta love a Mister. Lord.
So my weird, I don't know why one is Donkey Kong Country, because I'm not that fond of Donkey Kong Country, but for some reason, just running around the first few levels is just very comfortable to me.
Feels like a video game.
I was trying to think of more like arcadey stuff because that makes more sense, but I think I'm just not into that kind of game. I don't think any of us really are on this show. But the 2 that I came up with, I've mentioned Hero is my favorite 2600 game. And that's one that like I've had several mornings where it's like, I'm kind of early for work. I'm just going to turn on the Mister and I just kind of play Hero for like 10 minutes. Another one along those lines is Shark on the Intellivision.
That's a good one.
Is another just like, I'm just float around, be a fish and eat some stuff and then get bored.
The one that really scratches the itch in my brain, and I think is probably true for more people than encompasses our audience, is Minesweeper. Minesweeper really scratches a particular itch in my brain that I'm able to kind of put on and do for 30 seconds or 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I kind of have that with Picross, except I think in my case, I'm not sure that I'm having fun so much as not thinking about other stuff.
Right.
So
it's meditative.
Yeah, so for me it's not quite on that list because I do play Picross on my 3DS every day. But am I having fun or am I ignoring my problems? And I feel like in my case I'm doing the latter. Here's an odd one from, not saying that that's everyone's situation, that's just my situation, that may surprise listeners of this show. I'm putting these 2 games together because they fill a similar thing for me, but Doom 64 and Turok, I'm putting those in one box. I can just go in there and have like a weird Earth 2 FPS experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say Quake 2 has been one for years now for me. to just put on Quake 2 and play through the first episode there, which is very, fortuitously, Night Dive did their remaster of Quake 2 that came out last week, 2 weeks ago. And it's beautiful. It's phenomenally fantastic. And it was always a good one for me to fire up. And now I can continue firing it up. I had actually started, it had become Quake 1 for a while because Night Dive did the remaster of Quake 1 and I bought it on my Switch and on my PlayStation because why not have it on both of those? Because I already had it on PC because they just upgrade what you already have. So I'm probably going to get Quake 2 on my PS5 and that'll become even easier to jump into. Thank you.
I'm trying to think, like, my other way of doing this is, like, loading up a game where I just kind of want to look at the art from the beginning for a minute. So, Another World is one of those.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I like that game fine, but, like, I mostly just, watch the intro and play through the first level, get to the beginning of the second level, die a couple times and go, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I love to fire up Rondo of Blood just to watch the intro.
Yeah, I've done that too, actually. Yeah, that's a good one.
That makes
Phenomenal
sense.
intro.
Here's one for me. We got to finish these, Jeffy.
Okay.
Kadash. So I like Kadash on the arcade or PC Engine, and it's an action RPG with growth and side scrolling. It feels like the number go up thing, and it also feels but more than that, it feels the jump and hit stuff thing. So it's I guess that's my version of a Castlevania. I would play Kadash. All the Castlevanias are better than Kadash. Maybe not all, but
I think Super Mario Brothers 3 is better than Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but for some reason I don't take Super Mario Brothers 3 lightly,
Yeah.
I can't just fire it up on a whim as much as I can. Sonic
and
2.
I think another one for me is Gunhead / Blazing Lasers.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
It's a good little shooting game, and it also has a caravan mode, which is like, here's 3 minutes. What can you do in that time?
Did you also just sit down and play that at California Extreme this past weekend?
I didn't know it was there.
Oh, it was in the room with all the consoles.
Oh, the console room? Yeah, no, I didn't.
It's the first game when you walk in is Blazing Lasers. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost said Galactic Attack, aka Layer Section, but it felt not right to. Even though I do like loading that game up and have a fun time with the early bits, I can't beat it. I can't beat that game. There's a little something whenever I start it up, being like, but I know I can't finish this. It's very sad. Tim, how many have you done? You did a 2 or 3?
Well, I guess
you don't have to get to 5.
Dracula X, Harmony of Dissonance, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah.
Battle Garega.
Right.
I think I got.
Okay, that's good enough. Okay, we can unless anyone's got any more burning ones, Burning Rangers.
Burning Rangers. See, I think a lot of this is informed by games that are not on CD systems. Because it's just games that don't take any time.
Yeah, they don't have to
They
load.
have to be on the Mister for me. Oh, and I said Quake 2 as well, so I did do 5.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, that's 5, Jerry. That's
well, we
5.
do have to talk about the news this week.
Oh, let's hear it.
What's in the news?
It's time for us all to say goodbye to an old friend, as Charles Martinet has officially brought his term as Mario's voice actor to a close.
He has, or Nintendo has?
Yeah, did he do it?
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
That's part of my question here. Now he's the Mario ambassador, according to Nintendo's press release. And what I want to know is, what does a Mario ambassador do?
It's obviously when the Mushroom Kingdom is threatening war.
Yeah.
You gotta have somebody to talk to him.
A Mario ambassador is a job title for if your name is Charles Martinet and you just got fired.
Yeah, I think that's it.
But the company does not want people on social media to get upset.
Right.
We all know the concept of the corner office or whatever, where they just send somebody who they don't want to deal with anymore, but they don't want to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they put them into this area and silo them so that they don't affect anyone else.
God, that's the dream. God.
Yeah, it is.
I'd love it.
I've never seen anyone who has had that done to them who didn't work for the company.
Right.
So he's just a freelance guy. And they're like,
he's
here's
a freelance corner office.
Here's your window office, sir.
He's a remote first corner.
I really wonder what the conversation was like. It's like, we'll give you $600 a month, and he goes, "I'll take it."
I want more money.
Was that it? Was he just says he'll take the 6? Like he just immediately like Kramer in the Calvin Klein ad or whatever, settling is we'll give you free lattes or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like, I'll take it, just shaking the hand immediately. We'll give you a can of SpaghettiOs a day and $600 per month. And he just like a $20 per diem.
That's so nice.
A Mario ambassador, $20 per diem plus a can of SpaghettiOs. I'll take it. And then that's it. He just immediately he's the man,
It'd be really interesting to try to engage him as the Mario ambassador and see what happens. Just like
there's not a chance in heck that he's going to be involved officially in anything ever again.
I think although I guess it probably means that he can still. Probably what it actually means is that he can still go to conventions and sign stuff.
They might have him there and sign. Yeah. I mean, that's probably about it. The guy. Did you ever see the guy in an interview, man? Like, did you ever see him like getting interviewed by somebody?
I heard you talking about it.
We've talked about this before. Like, did you ever see his little YouTube channel or his Instagram where he posts videos where he's playing with Mario figures and talking in Mario voices? It's just like,
no.
I have.
Oh my God.
I would. You've never seen this? If I were at Nintendo, I would have kicked this clown to the curb years ago. Like the way he acts in interviews, it's like Nintendo puts on these airs of being some world-class company with making world-class aesthetic items of just like cultural importance, and they've got this psychopathic clown on their goddarn payroll. Like, the guy, have you not seen interviews with this guy? He is just unbearably like scary to watch be interviewed. There's like the famous one would be with the Conan O'Brien interviewing him. Did you all see this?
No.
Nobody saw this? Man, it's just the guy. I would not want that guy appearing in public speaking for my storied century-old company. I just would not want it. And it's like, if that makes me sound like some kind of an old jerk, Charles Martinet's older than me. I wouldn't want him ambassadoring god darn nothing.
Well, I think, I mean, it might be that, but I suspect it's because the guy's almost 70 and his voice is starting to turn.
That's all they had to say.
Yeah.
He's retiring. Woohoo!
Because he's pretty old, and like we're starting to hear it in his voice.
I think the concept of retirement doesn't like exist in the public mindset anymore, though.
Oh, sure, everyone lives forever, but I just think about like what's his face, Mel Blanc. He died kind of young-ish, but like those last few cartoons and like voicing Porky Pig sound really rough, you know, or like when Way Forward got Alan Young reprising his Scrooge McDuck when he was like he sounds like he's dying and then he died like 2 days
Alan
later.
Old. Wait, wasn't he like 93 or something at the time?
He was incredibly old.
He was some decrepit age.
That game was already like incredibly slow, and it would just start a cutscene, and like the cutscene would play, and then he would like
I'm
scroll through his lines,
He sounded like Kazooie from Banjo-Kazooie with the throat noises.
No, they're avoiding that. Yeah. They're avoiding it's a me.
That's all they had to say was the guy retired. This brand Mario ambassador thing just makes it sound like they're trying to cover something up.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's just dirty sounding.
Yeah.
But also the guy was always deranged and publicly weird. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I had an encounter with him in person once, and he was very weird. Like very, very weird in a way that genuinely scared me.
I think all voice actors are.
Yeah, but I mean,
he is kind of the stereotypical voice actor.
I met Troy Baker once, and he was cool. This was before he had his own brand of NFTs. So who knows if he crested the hill, the Charles Martinet hill. But this Charles Martinet man, I don't know. I don't want to hate on the guy, but it's just a weird dude. But like, did you see like I saw like a Steven Totillo tweet where he was like, I asked on behalf of Axios, I asked Nintendo, who will voice Mario in the upcoming Super Mario Wonder, and Nintendo responded with this, and the response was something like, our video games feature credits at the end. Please stay tuned to the credits at the end of the game to see the name of the voice actor who voiced Mario. It's like, that's also seems like dirty as heck, man.
What is going on there?
That's a really bizarre response to that question.
What?
It's just like, I mean, I don't know what else they're supposed to say to that, right?
It's true.
But
I mean,
man,
the guy's name, the name of the new guy
Yeah.
would be an option.
fans were listening to the Mario Wonder trailer and they were like, I don't think that's Charles Martinet. People were saying
Right.
Yeah.
they got to sound alike, and they are never going to let that guy speak in public. He's going to have some NES game like name like Senor Tappy or whatever. Like he's going to have like some name, like some programmer alias.
Yeah, Bon.
Like you're never going to know the name of this guy. They might even be using goddarn AI. And you know what? For all it's worth, Charles Martinet might as well have been using AI since...
And what if they are? What if they AI'd his
Since
voice?
Super Mario Galaxy, the man just hasn't remembered what Mario's voice sounds like, which is confusing because it's now more than half of the voiced Mario history has transpired since then. It's just a couple of nested headaches, man. I don't know.
They did not say that he wouldn't stop voicing Luigi. So maybe he's still in there as Luigi.
Mario. Right?
All right, next question.
Wait, Brandon had something to say. What were you going to say about Charles Martinet?
It wasn't important. It was just that
Oh.
Yeah, I see. For those of you that don't have your video screens on, Tim was hovering over his soundboard as I was about to speak, ready for me to interrupt whatever I was going to say.
That was the
Welcome
sound,
back.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
all
got it
missed
right
the
here.
soundboard.
It was just that
Everybody loves it.
I hadn't seen the Super Mario Wonder trailer until I heard about Charles Martinet not being the guy, and
Yeah.
and I was listening to it, and I don't know if it would have struck me without this knowledge.
Yeah.
But I was listening to it, and I was like, this reminds me of like when they started doing Mickey cartoons again.
Yeah.
And Mickey didn't sound right.
Exactly.
And it sounded like that. And Jaffe, you were saying Marge sounds different. I haven't
Yeah.
heard no Marge for
Oh, yeah.
35
Oh,
years.
Jack-
Jaffe
She's
knows.
old.
Jaffe may perhaps know that I've seen some modern Simpsons lately for a bizarre reason. And man, yeah, it's weird.
It's sad.
Guess I'll have
It's
to
like
check that out.
depressing to listen to, Julie Kavner. Now.
Sad is one thing, but yeah, she sounds like a grandma. I mean, she is. She's an old lady.
Yeah.
She sounds like when she was doing the grandma voice in the 90s.
She was doing
Marge.
Marge's mom. Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
her be Simpsons ambassador.
That's right, Marge Ambassador.
Okay, before we move on,
Yeah.
I have a similar thing I want to bring up. Just speaking of Mario's voice,
Mario.
I saw this.
It's a who?
this Super Mario movie finally.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
I still have it.
Oh, Chris Pratt's gonna be the new Mario.
Well, yeah. So yeah. I don't know if you guys knew that the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy is Mario.
I did hear about that.
Gaba'd.
The guy from Parks and Recreation?
He's as Italian as Charles Martinet
Here
is.
we come.
So so I watched this movie and it was fine. It was the most safe thing that anyone could have possibly made. It's just very quick. It's fine.
It was visual gruel.
Yes.
No offense to it. Gruel's fine.
And it made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But I was really disappointed because I watched that whole movie, including just, post credits, whatever they wanted to give me. And not once in the movie, I'm going to spoil this slightly for you, Brandon.
Let's hear
Not
it.
once in the movie does he go, Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
he never says that.
That was just for the trailer?
That was just for the
Stomping
trailer.
Koopas. He doesn't say that either.
He doesn't say it in the movie. And
Yeah.
it's
the
gross.
$1.3 billion is what it made.
I bet Nintendo feels real. Shigeru Miyamoto's just eyeballs popping out of his head. Why didn't we do this? Why didn't somebody tell me? That's Shigeru Miyamoto's voice. Why didn't somebody tell me this was a good idea? We got burned
Yeah.
by that 93 film. That 93 picture burned us. Is it because we didn't have an iron grip? That's what it was. The iron grip is what made the 1.3 bill.
Wow. Guess where it made the second most money after the U.S.?
Australia.
No.
Okay, I don't know then. But this
China.
Hit me with it.
China.
Mexico.
Hey.
Whoa, Hey,
Wow.
fantastic.
Good for Mario.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a him.
Can I use the resto before we do this next question?
Sure, we'll be right back after a quick break. I always conflate Coach the show and Coach from Cheers. Like, I want it to be a spin-off, but it's not.
I wanted that also as a child. I thought that it should be that way.
When you're a child, you want all shows to be the same show, and then Disney did that, and it sucks.
Does Coach predate Cheers? No.
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 Coach?
No, yeah.
Lord, no. Is that Craig T. Nelson? You talking about Craig T. Nelson in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Insert Credit. We're back from the break, so I guess it's time to go to the dirt bag. This is the part of every episode where I pick a question submitted to us at patreon.com/insertcredit, where for just $1 a month, you can submit these questions, get monthly bonus episodes, and other fantastic surprises.
Whoa!
This week's question comes from Seth, who asks, if you could replace one of your arms with the arm of a video game character, whose arm would you pick?
I don't think I would do that.
I would pick the arm that's closest to my existing arm.
Yeah.
I would find a character that is my build.
I go into the character creator.
Oh, so Frank from,
Yeah,
Frank
sure.
West
yeah,
from Dead
yeah,
Rising.
Frank West. There we go.
Exactly.
Frank West. I'd have a better trigger finger for my photo taken.
So wait, the question here is, if you could replace your
you
arm?
have to.
No, you phrased it if you could, but if you have to, that makes more sense. So
I shortened the question. There was a whole hypothetical scenario attached that I cut for
Let's
time.
hear it. Let's hear it because we don't want to answer this
No, I
question.
deleted it. It's lost the time.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Well, maybe one of the enchanted arms, then I could do some enchanted stuff.
wild arm, yeah.
I could have a wild... No, but a wild arm is basically... Isn't it a gun? Like, don't you have an arm gun, then?
An arm is it's not even your arm. It's just it's what they call guns.
I guess it's just a gun.
Wild arms are just what they call guns in the Wild Arms series. You'd think it was something totally cool, but no, just a regular old arm or gun.
I looked up ARM on Moby Games. There's a Super Famicom game I hadn't heard of called Ruin Arm. So I
Nice.
don't want that one.
No,
You already mentioned Enchanted Arms.
I did.
But there's a Windows game apparently from 2014 called Loadout: Arm Floaties.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about one of the arms from ARMS?
Oh, it's DLC for Loadout.
I
It's
see.
DLC for Loadout. I see. Okay.
I see.
So what are
Yeah.
some arms you wouldn't want?
I wouldn't want the Nintendo arms.
Yoshi's little tiny dinosaur arms.
I don't want those wiggly
want
ones.
those.
I wouldn't want Mega Man's blaster arm.
I don't want
No.
Dizzy's arms because those are made of egg.
Right.
Well, they also don't stop moving.
Stupid guy.
Yeah.
He's got like restless egg arm syndrome.
God,
Yeah.
Dizzy sucks.
Dizzy's awful.
When is somebody gonna kill him already?
I wouldn't want the arms of an RPG character from the late 80s, early 90s where like your arms are always doing the marching animation,
Oh, yeah.
always doing that. That would be really like, what if you had to go to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not the arms for like the Switch game.
Yeah, no.
Right, that's what I was talking about.
The big
Yeah.
noodly ramen arms.
Yeah, you don't want those.
Nobody wants those, do they?
There's 1,000 arms.
I think I would want Rayman's arm as long as it came with the hand.
The invisible one?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it would be cool to have a disembodied hand that I could control.
You'd always be bonking your elbow into stuff.
Well, I wouldn't have an elbow is the thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't feel
Does
it.
he not have an elbow?
No, he's
it's-
got none.
He psychically controls that hand.
Oh, that's right, because
Yeah.
he's just an eggplant.
Guy's wild. I don't understand how he does it.
Mm,
What about Plock's arm? He also has a detached arm.
It would make wearing clothes difficult, I feel.
Nobody would see.
You could wear tank tops.
All right, if we're going purely by game title, I'm gonna put in our chat here, the one I would go for.
All right, let's see what we got.
Just arms.
Just arms.
Just arms.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have like a big muscular arm.
No.
One of Liquid Snake's arms grafted onto my
Oh
arm
God,
either.
no.
That's
Yeah.
like the kind of Warhammer figurine that I was making. Like one guy with a guy with one skinny arm and one huge marine arm and stuff. What if I got a Bayonetta arm and then I had magic? Is that good?
I don't know if the
Is the
magic
magic in the
comes from the
arm?
arm. The magic
Or is
comes
it
from
in
the
her hair? Yeah. But her arm hair clearly...
No, it's all head hair because she can like retract it into
Oh,
her
you're
scalp.
right. It is all head hair. It's not the arm hair. Well, that won't do it for me,
No.
I'm afraid. What about cooking Mama's arm so I can get really good at cooking? But I'd have good muscle memory for cooking, for chopping.
I think that comes from the
And to
heart.
be in there, I think there's actually a part of the brain responsible for that.
Oh, you think so?
You think?
I'm not sure.
Well-
Whatever cooking it's stored.
For muscle memory, I mean. I
Yeah,
don't think
I-
muscles actually remember stuff.
Yeah, good question, Seth. I have another hypothetical.
Nice. Let's hear about it.
If you could only judge real-world animals by the way they were presented in video games, how would your opinions on animals be different?
Interesting.
I'd be a lot more scared of dolphins after Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
As you should be.
I would think that it's possible to befriend any wolf, because any wolf I've ever seen in a video game, well, that's not true. There's some that are spooky, but you have a way higher chance of befriending a wolf in a video game than in real life.
One of my friends is a baby wolf in real life.
I have one of those living in my house.
I like a baby wolf. I think they're a good dog. So if all my opinions about animals were informed directly from video games, is that the question?
Yeah.
It'd be a real shame, because I would think that it's impossible to pet dogs, because there's simply not enough video games that let you pet dogs.
That's right.
I don't think I've ever played a video game that lets you pet a dog.
And you never will.
Get on that. There are so many video games that have dogs, but there's no button you can press that would let you pet them, right? It's really disgusting.
Yeah.
And they need to let me pet the dogs in the video games. Otherwise, what's the point of having dogs in video games, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would think that I could ride a dragon and that dragons are real.
Oh,
I'd be concerned that if you touched a bird or a bat, you would instantly die.
Fall off a ledge.
That is true, though.
Yeah.
Well, also that they would all like swarm at you on sight, right? Like
Right.
the birds just hate you inherently.
That's true sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what that Hitchcock movie was about.
It'd be an interesting twist, because birds tend to. You ever notice this, that birds kind of run away when you like try to kick them or whatever? They fly away.
Yeah.
Perfect reflexes like this. So you would have a different attitude about approaching birds on the sidewalk.
We have a contract.
I would believe that if I got the right wand, I could speak to most animals and they would have human-like things to say.
Well, that may be true. You just haven't found that wand yet.
It's still possible.
Yeah.
It could totally be the case.
I would be constantly throwing empty containers at every animal I see, hoping that I could add them to my collection if I hit them hard enough.
Right.
I would carry some of my OXO pop containers around.
Yeah.
Throw the lid at any animal I see.
So it could like reduce to its energy atoms.
Yeah.
I would think that any large bird in the sky is something I could use as a platform, and that wouldn't actually affect my life at all, because I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I could make that jump. So I could live my life believing that and die with that, and it'd be fine.
What if there were a bunch of teens expecting you to do it? Could you do it then? Bunch of teens standing around. Jump on that bird, bro.
I was driving through a desert the other day, and there were turkey vultures swarming overhead. And I was like, I kind of thought for a second, I wish I had a grappling hook so I could shoot one of those guys and like surf on it.
Yeah, speaking of dolphins, you should be able to surf on dolphins too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but how often does one encounter a dolphin in the wild? You don't see them in the woods. You don't see them in the park,
I live by the water. They're out there. I know they're there. That's the thing. I know they're in there.
But you can't prove it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Dolphins are they're just big water dogs,
DVDs.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
It's very, very funny animal.
It's good to know they're out there.
Yeah, they're out there doing whatever it is they do.
All right. I got another one.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
What was the most significant sliding doors moment in video game history? The most inconsequential change that would have had the greatest amount of impact?
What do you mean sliding doors moment?
A moment where, the smallest thing could change that would change the most about video games in history.
Okay, so if
Miyamoto married a different woman.
like a diverging path sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think didn't we answer this with like Sega and hardware in some way?
That was me trying to fix the Sega timeline.
That's too big.
Yeah.
Okay.
If one thing was more popular than another, that requires too many decisions.
Yeah, Brandon's answer is maybe correct. I think there's a butterfly effect with Shigeru Miyamoto that changes video games.
Yeah.
If he'd married a gamer, like a Space Invaders expert, he would have just invented cave shooters instead of every video game.
Would things have changed if the various games that came out around E.T. did super well somehow? Just like suddenly the 2600, like the video game crash didn't happen.
Fine.
No, but I'm saying if they did like dramatically super well.
That is not what caused the crash. So no.
DSW Shoe Warehouse dramatically super
It
well.
gave Atari a little bit of a bad time. It contributed to their existing bad time, but nothing hinged on E.T.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm saying, would one really good season have changed it for them?
I could okay. So, what small inconsequential thing completely turns Atari around?
That's what I was trying. I was grasping for that clearly.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a game so big that that every Atari owner buys like 3 copies. You know what I mean? Like it's
Or
not
it sold more Ataris, which was
okay. Yeah.
that was the point of ET and that other one that I forget that came out around the same time. They printed a bunch of them, and if they had sold more Ataris, then it would have.
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think they could have licensed something bigger. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that the home video game industry, that you could like make a surprise hit that spreads. I think they were just games, right? And so I get where you're going.
Yeah,
like you're trying to find them. Like I think it's the saving Sega thing. Like I don't think there's like one thing you could do.
What would have happened if the NES were shaped like the Famicom and the cartridges were Famicom cartridges?
Absolutely nothing differently.
You don't think it would have been different at all?
I do not. No.
My big brother, I was privy to a lot of moments where my big brother was way more needlessly superficial about something than all of his later mannerisms in life would indicate he had ever been at any point. Maybe he would have thought that the NES was for babies if the cartridges were small.
Yeah, you would have had some people like that. That's
a few big brothers would have refused to play on the tiny cartridge system.
Like I think they were right, to go that direction.
To make the cartridges bigger.
Yeah, all of it, to make it the entertainment system, to like put these stupid toys with it, but I think it was the right idea, but I don't know that it was necessary. Like I might have done something similar and I wouldn't have regretted it, but I don't know that they needed to, is what I'm saying.
What if the Game Boy hadn't shipped with Tetris? According to that movie, it would have made a really big difference.
Could have been a thing. I'm sure there's an answer out there that's extremely exciting.
All right, what else we got? What else is good?
I was hoping you could crack it here.
What else is a good one? I want to save the Dreamcast. How do I do that?
Yeah, that's kind of your ongoing time travel mission.
Dreamcast with a DVD player?
Here's something simple. Maybe if the Nintendo 64 had Super Mario 64 packed in, would have changed something. Because I don't know, it was a 100%
tie ratio
attach rate, right? Like everybody in Japan, everybody who bought an N64 bought Mario. That's I don't know, would that have changed something?
Well, if it was packed in, would that mean they just sold less copies?
Maybe it would have been cheaper, and then maybe more people would have bought Pilot Wings. I don't know. We'd have more flight sims out there. That's what we'd have.
Maybe
and more of them.
We didn't give it away.
What if the TurboGrafx had launched not as the TurboGrafx, but as the Duo, and only launched with the CD thing? Like that was the first thing. I don't think it would have done that much, but it would have been before the Sega CD, and it would have been like a solo in the stopgap zone, but it wouldn't have done that much.
I think what we've learned here is that time is essentially immutable, and we shouldn't try to go back and mess with it.
Well, I'm gonna go fix Sega. I'm gonna get back there. I'm gonna do it.
All right. What happens when a player reports a bug in a video game?
Can you pet the bug?
Good question.
A variety of things happen. It depends on how they report it, but I will tell you that when someone reports a bug to me, I check and see if it's there. But sometimes what they do is they'll send a screenshot and be like, I got stuck here, and I have no idea what happened. And there's truly not enough information to deduce, and so I have to ignore those because you can't track that down. But if someone gives me some itemized, like I did this and then I did that and then this thing happened that was not desirable, then we'll probably fix it, because why not fix it? Unless the game's too old and nobody cares, then I won't do anything.
I mean, usually you just wait for several people to report. You wait for more than one report of something.
Yeah.
If you're on a large game and you're getting hundreds of bug reports every day, you just kind of wrangle them up and tackle there's a procedure.
Yeah, it's one of the things a QA manager is for.
Yeah.
Every game that I've shipped had like 0 post-launch support built into our contract. So
that ought to do it.
When a player reports a bug, I just feel bad.
You flip off the monitor.
Yeah.
I just feel upset, and then have to reply to them, letting them know that, well, if you'd like that fixed, please ask insert publisher here, because I have no power over this decision.
You should just reply with sayonara, suckers, to all of them with like 25 exclamation points.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I'm out.
Nope. Just the word nope and an exclamation point would be good as well.
The end.
I think would
the
be
end.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got something else then.
Good.
In the spirit of this being past episode 300, we have to revisit a previous question from the show. This is one we broached but didn't quite address, and I earmarked for us to eventually get to.
It's actually pronounced brooched, but yeah.
Yeah?
That's a joke.
Is it?
That's a joke, yeah. It's a good one.
I've only seen it written. Anyway, I think Tim brought this up like 100 episodes ago. But what are the Mario and Sonic of food?
Oh, yeah, good one. It's a good
Right.
one.
Burgers and hot dogs.
The Mario of food is a ravioli.
Ravioli.
And the Sonic
hot
of food
dogs.
is a chili dogs.
Yeah.
Tasty phrase.
Actually, when I said hamburgers and hot dogs, I was not thinking about the chili dogs thing at that time.
Yeah.
Now I am.
Right.
We'll say cheeseburgers and chili dogs. Double CH action. What's the bonk of food?
Yeah.
Mario would be some kind of Italian food, like spaghetti and meatballs.
Mario. Spaghetti and meatballs is nothing. That's trash.
Exactly.
That's not real Italian food.
No, I know.
Anybody in New York will tell you that.
And Mario is not a real Italian guy.
So Mario is unlimited breadsticks.
He's unlimited breadsticks.
I think he's a ravioli.
No, he's not Olive Garden Italian. He's Sopranos Italian.
A ravioli.
Then he's pasta fagioli.
Yes.
No, he's gabagool.
He's
He's
gabagool.
Gabagool. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why Luigi hides from the Gabagools in Luigi's Mansion.
Right.
Yeah.
He's Gabba by the Ghoulies.
Luigi's been gabbed by the Goolies.
Episode title.
What will they think of next?
And then Sonic, I feel like he doesn't really even eat. I think he's just metabolizing rings.
I think
So-
he eats like fistfuls of like potpourri. It's for some reason like
Yeah.
he's like eating like things infused with essential oils, aromatics. Like there's something wrong with him. Like it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, hedgehogs eat slugs.
But I mean, we're not looking for what does Sonic
No.
eat. We're saying
I
what
know.
is the food version of Sonic? What is the Sonic of food?
And I want to specify, as I understand it, it's not Sonic the character, it's Sonic the franchise.
So I feel
Yeah, exactly.
here's my pitch. I'm gonna say conveyor belt sushi. It's like it's cheap. It's not high end. It's always revolving. You can pick what you want. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. Conveyor belt sushi for Sonic.
So I think you and I are going in different directions because I think the Mario and Sonic of blank is like the two defaults of blank, right? Like so.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said hamburger and hot dog at
You know,
first.
hamburger and pizza, I think.
H&P.
Like that's just the like in the US.
But pizza
those are
is the Ninja Turtles.
The default groups.
It's true.
I think Mario is a pizza, bro. And I think Sonic is a Japanese curry with rice.
All right.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Which is like, that's basically like a J chili dog. It's basically a chili dog in Japan.
Maybe the Sonic and Mario are different per country that you're in.
What's the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games of food?
That was Rio, right? So
Rio.
I think that's the hometown buffet.
There's actually been several of those.
oh, that's right. Yeah, they did Beijing also.
Yeah, they keep doing them whenever they come up.
So it depends on the region.
Yeah, well, I think it's probably just like a Vegas hotel buffet, no matter how you slice it. Steak and lobster buffet.
Spaghetti with chopped up hot dogs, things that are kind of a regional dish.
Have you seen those ones where they push the spaghetti through the hot dog to make
Yeah.
a weird linked thing?
Don't want
That's
it.
not right.
No, and nobody wants to play Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games either.
Don't
They
like
do it. It's very popular.
They're two great tastes that go bad together.
What's going on? What are these dogs yelling at?
My dogs just yelled like 30 seconds before that, so there's something in the air.
Is that old guy standing out in front of the door? We have an old guy on our floor who stands out in front of our door sometimes, like waiting for the dogs to bark. So
So you can complain about it.
Have you checked to see if he's there to tell you about Mario? Because it could be Charles Martinet.
Mario. Yeah, he is Charles. I think he is a little bit.
He's
Charlieo.
knocking down doors. Gotta spread the
Man,
good
what
word.
if Charles?
Have
What
you
if
heard
Charles
about
Martinet?
Mario?
We're just back to talking about Charles Martinet now.
Yeah.
So what if Charles Martinet just starts his own video game company and like he makes a new character named Charlieo?
Martendo.
Yeah,
It's me,
like
Charlieo.
Martendo's Super Charlieo brothers.
Yeah.
It's a me, Charlieo. In that case, the Charlieo of food would be a funnel cake dusted with like an inch of cocaine.
It's a big dusting.
Yeah. Oh, I think my boy's generous with the dust over in Martendo country. I think.
Oh man, can you imagine that sad Kickstarter Charles Martinet's independent video game.
A Charlieo.
He'd probably get
What's
money.
up with a Charlieo buddies? It's called
Charlieo Buddies.
It's called Ultra Charlieo buddies. Ultra Charlieo buddies.
I think he would get money, and then he wouldn't deliver it, and then he would ruin his reputation
He'd
after
get
that.
god darn Inti Creates to develop it, probably.
Yeah, it's true. Does Inti Create still exist? I think they do.
Oh, they sure do. I played an Inti Creates game just the other day.
Nice. I guess they're still creating Inties.
Yeah, they're out there.
Thank you.
What's the Inti Creates of food? Cotton candy with marshmallows on it?
I feel like it's a boxed macaroni and cheese.
Sounds
Yeah.
right.
It's like it's not bad. It's not your first choice, but you eat it and you're like, I ate something.
Kinda regret it, but not entirely.
Not all the way.
I actually eat a whole box macaroni and cheese, and I have yet to play a whole Inti Creates video game.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I think it's like a single animal cracker.
By popular demand,
What?
time for us to return for Season 3 of Violence Island.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That's right, we're back.
I thought we were going to say how long it was going to be until the next one, and then I forgot to do it.
Yeah, this is the next one. I averaged all the votes I got, which was only Frank, because you two forgot to send yours in,
Son of a...
and it ended up being a month.
I didn't forget. I just didn't feel like it.
That's fair.
So you got the average of 1.
I got an average of 1. And
All right.
the way this segment works is, if you haven't heard it before, if you're a first-time listener, welcome. Over at forums.insertcredit.com, people send us these submissions of who would win in a fight between various video game personalities. We decide those forever and for all time. Then we take the winners of those matchups and make them fight each other until there's one winner at the end of a 9-episode season that elapses over the course of roughly 1 a month.
Basically, what Jaffe is saying is it's a segment of this show where we use as many words as possible to say, who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
so let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's let the good times god darn roll.
Can I... we'll get back to this, but can I just pause for a second to tell you about the newspaper article that my mom texted me while we were doing this show?
Let's hear about it.
The headline
You
is
heard it here first, folks.
Matching tattoos prep DeLand coaches for season. And I was like, what is this? Why do I care about it?
Do the headline again?
Matching tattoos prep DeLand coaches for season. This is like the front page of the sports section.
What's DeLand?
DeLand is a city in Florida.
Okay, so there are coaches in this city with matching tattoos.
They've gotten them to prep for the season.
Okay.
And I was like, why could I possibly care about this?
It's because that's where Charles Martinet's from?
It's my aunt got a tattoo at age 75.
Hey, good for her.
And it's on the front page of the sports section of the
I kind of
newspaper.
care about that.
And it's for swimming, by the way, is the sport that they're coaching.
What is the
Well, that
tattoo?
rules.
The tattoo is like
A gun. It's a
speaking
Glock.
of Charles Martinet,
It's a gun
Glock.
shooting a pool and like water splashing out of the pool.
it's like a bunch of fish, but almost in a tribal tattoo kind of a situation.
Oh, no.
Where is it located?
On the ankle.
Okay.
If I were 75 years old and I didn't have a tattoo yet, it'd probably be some nonsense if somebody put a gun to my head and said, get one.
Yeah. It wasn't that amazing, but it's like, wow.
All right. The new lighting round is everyone needs to share the last article that one of your parents sent you.
Yeah, what did you get?
I got, last Monday, Charles Martinet has retired from voicing Mario after over 30 years.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Very good.
You are all number one in my heart, says the veteran voice actor.
You're all a number one in my heart.
Number one. I have never received an email or a text from my mom. Literally
Frank,
0 times.
You got one?
I mean, no.
No. All right. Well, that's been the episode, everybody.
No, let's get back. We can get back to Violence Island.
All right, here we go. We're gonna
Vio.
we're gonna tear through Vio. Our first match is
Gex versus Bubsy.
Dark Souls Ceaseless Discharge versus Yoshi's Island's Gargantua Blarg.
Ceaseless Discharge?
Yeah.
I'm going with the Ceaseless Discharge. You ever see that guy?
No,
No.
I'm about to.
Is that a
Oh, man, look him up.
medical condition?
Yeah, it sounds really gross.
Well, first of all, you can't god darn stop the discharge.
Wow, my eyes don't know where to look on this guy.
Oh yeah, try fighting him.
Ooh, no.
Yes, I mean he's
Not
basically
going to.
he's basically so like From Software games they have a really tasty relationship with just featuring characters, monsters, bosses which are sort of unapologetically like winkingly hat tippingly just like the absolute like psychedelic evil quote unquote realistic version of like one of your favorite classic Nintendo monsters or whatever.
He looks to me like a nemesis, a big nemesis from
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
I mean, it's like in Elden Ring. I think my favorite example is in Elden Ring. There's slimes, right? And they're just like disgusting, like amoebas of like leathery amoebas with like hair and stuff sticking out of them. And they make gross. They're just like gross motions, undulating motions. They're really nasty looking. And it's like that's such a great looking RPG slime to have.
Who's the other guy? Gaba'd?
The other guy is the
Blarg.
monster
He's
on
a
the
big
cover of Yoshi's Island.
A big old lava monster sort of guy.
So we got two different lava guys.
Two big lava
Yeah,
monsters.
two big lava guys sloshing against each other.
So I haven't played far enough in Yoshi's Island to encounter this guy. Is he defeatable with eggs? Like, can eggs kill him?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you just like shoot him with eggs until he dies?
He's a stupid Nimrod. Yeah, he's a Nintendo
He's also
boss.
goofy and he's got a smile on his face. I think he loses.
Ceaseless Discharge would get this guy's goat big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd
Yeah.
take
He
him.
would-
He'd take him to the
He'd
trash.
probably absorb him or
Yeah.
something. Being the bigger lava monster, he would just absorb him in
Yeah,
there.
being ceaseless and whatnot. Sure.
Yeah.
He'd smoke
Because
him.
guy don't stop.
Our next match is Mario with a gun versus Sonic with a knife.
Yeah.
Well,
The classic playground one, if I recall correctly.
Sonic is faster than he's faster than bullets if he can see it. So
Yeah.
Well, also, does he have I don't know, like that scene in that X-Men movie with Quicksilver? Like, does time slow down for Sonic when he's fast?
yes, if you've seen
According to the Sonic movie.
according to the Sonic movies, then
Oh,
it
that's
does.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's,
okay,
he's
so
like
in that case,
jumping
yeah,
around.
he's-
He's pushing bullets.
Does Sonic ever have a knife in those movies?
do you think a knife might slow him down?
No, but
No, I'm saying if Sonic has a knife here and doesn't have a knife in the movies, then this isn't the Sonic from the movies.
Did I have a knife in Siberia? That's a reference to Jack Reacher. For all my Jack Reacher fans in the chat.
no, it's the same
So,
Sonic. It's
It's the same Sonic. It's movie Sonic. Okay.
it's movie Sonic. I would
Does
say.
that mean this is movie Mario?
Well, it's got to
Well,
be
movie Mario would be dead in a goddamn snap of a finger.
Oh, yeah.
A snap of a finger. Because you either got Bob Hoskins or Chris Charles Martinet Pratt.
Also,
I think Bob Hoskins would be deadlier with a gun.
God, the long Good Friday, dude.
Yeah, Mario's gonna just be confused by the gun and like, you know, as he's looking at the gun, you know, in his hand, he's looking down at the gun. Suddenly there will also be a knife within his eyesight, but it's inside of him.
yeah,
And like Sonic will be nowhere around. He won't know what
yeah,
happened.
he won't have seen it happen. Yeah.
I like the idea of Bob Hoskins' spiritual DNA implanting the theme music from The Long Good Friday in Mario's head, which is one of the best pieces of movie score ever composed.
Yeah, as his vision fades.
Yeah, but also I'm a Mario boy through and through. But the outcome of this fight is there's only one Charles Martinet voice clip that can properly
Yeah.
what
indicate
is it?
how this fight's going to turn out, and that is
That's right.
that's it.
That's
Guy's
it.
done. Sonic, like there's just no way.
yeah.
There's no way.
I
Yeah,
hope the
there's-
iris clothes from Super Mario World never makes an appearance on Violence Island because nothing can beat that.
Nothing
right.
can beat it. That's true. Our next match is Brownie from Contra Hardcore versus Robbit from Jumping Flash.
Okay, real quick, that sound in that iris, that's just straight up Looney Tunes, right? Like that's
Yeah.
where that came from. Like
Yeah.
that didn't
It's,
exist
it's a
outside
little
of Looney
slide
Tunes.
whistle iris sound. Yeah.
Yeah, but that sound was just Mel Blanc going boo whoop, like that, or someone, like it's
Mel
just a
Blanc's a
person
genius,
doing that. Yeah. That's it. I never made that connection. That's literally they just copied Looney Tunes. It's not
Yeah.
like a thing.
Well, you also know who copied somebody was that's what game is this from?
That's
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man, right?
No, it's Streets of Rage 2.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's Streets of Rage 2 eating
Yuzo Koshiro copied Pac-Man.
Yeah.
But guess what? He made it better.
That's right.
I could talk for about an hour on why this is better than the Pac-Man version, and maybe some other time we can
I'll
try.
revisit that.
We can do that.
So Brownie from Contra Hardcore is a little tiny robot, and who's the other guy again?
Robert from
from
Jumping Flash.
Jumping Flash.
Robot's got a size advantage, I think. I think Robert is canonically like 2 meters tall or something.
That's just the main guy, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
main guy. But Robot's slow as heck, man.
And he doesn't have a gun, does he?
Robert?
Yeah.
Robot's got guns. Jumping Flash is straight up.
Oh, yeah, he's got it. Right. He's got his.
Jumping Flash is straight up a console first-person shooter
Right.
developed in Japan before Quake, which is kind of a wild concept.
Yeah, it's his sparkle beam
And
gun.
of course, as a Japanese game, it has a bunch of platforming and the jumping gimmick. So they went like 12, 13 extra miles with that game.
Now, I think we've established that Violence Island is 3D. And
Yes.
so
Yeah, it's 3D,
if
yeah.
Brownie is stuck in a 2D plane and Jumping Flash is not.
But Jumping Flash is slow, and
It's true.
Brownie is 60.
Right, but all he has to do is jump out of the line of sight.
Brownie is 60 FPS.
Okay, so I think on Violence Island, I think we need to establish that fighters meet facing each other Street Fighter 2 style, right? And then it's like round one fight, and then they can do whatever, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've always
yeah.
imagined
Yeah.
it starts in a clearing, but there's forest and such on the outskirts they can rush into.
Okay, so if Brownie's like holding the gun button, right, as it starts, Jumping Flash might not have time to react, right? But
Yeah.
if Jumping Flash has time to react, he can jump sideways, right?
Brownie is a one-hit death, and Jumping Flash Robert has a lot. That was a long
lot of
Oh,
health
good
meters.
point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Also,
He
I
can
would.
probably absorb a few bullets before he gets out of the way.
The rate of fire in Contra Hardcore is truly spectacular. It is
Right.
an extremely high rate of fire, whereas Jumpo Flash, nah, man, nah,
Does
mate.
he just absorb damage, or does he get knockback or anything?
He
Jumping
just
Flash
kind of
guy?
he gets a very mild knockback.
Okay.
Not enough to knock him off of stuff.
I also think that in the name of fairness and probably the spirit of the asking of the question, I think that we should just infer that they can hit each other when it's 2D and 3D, unless it's something like Parappa, where he's clearly 2D in a 3D world and can bend to the side and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like we should just
A
kind
Paper
of
Mario situation.
good
Okay.
faithify
yeah.
it.
Parappa versus Paper Mario. That's a fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know who wins. I'm just saying that.
I think Jumping Flash is slow as heck.
I like Brownie for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jumping Flash is just, the guy's basically underwater when he's jumping through the air.
All
Yeah.
right. Our next one is Yo-Noid versus Mr. Domino.
Oh wow.
Well, nobody can stop Mr. Domino. He shouldn't be on Violence Island.
Although he is very stoppable in that video game, you can stop him real
Interestingly,
easy.
Mr. Domino stops at the hands of all but the most skilled practitioners. Mr. Domino stops quite easily.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Well, I know that Yo-Noid jumps and has a yo-yo or something, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well,
what
so
does
here's
Mr. Domino do?
he avoids, so that's something.
Okay.
He moves back and forth.
The connection here is that they are both, patrons of the Domino's.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, does the Noid ever get the Domino's pizza?
Yeah.
He
During
doesn't
the
get
bonus
it, he
round.
voids it.
He
Well,
voids
yeah.
it.
no, hang on. You're talking about the Noid. No,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In the game, you're right. He voids it.
Yeah, it's the Noid.
Yeah. He doesn't want the pizza.
He wants you to not have the pizza.
Right. He wants to ruin your pizza experience.
But doesn't he win pizza during the bonus rounds?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But then he immediately feeds it to a dumpster.
Yeah, I think they were a little
Okay.
confused about what they were doing there.
And then he field goal kicks the dumpster into orbit.
So, well, the Noid
Yeah.
has a weapon, and the Mr. Domino, who first of all is lied about because he can be stopped.
Mr. Domino's nothing but propaganda.
So
Don't believe
he,
the hype.
He can get knocked over with a yo-yo for sure. So I think it's the Noid.
One of the main things that dominoes do is get knocked over.
It's true. It's one of their
Yeah.
top features is
but
get knocked over.
but does being knocked over stop them is the real question. In this case, it does.
It's
Yes.
still a domino.
I
when
would
it's
say
knocked
yes.
over.
Hey, if you shoot me in the head, if I become a dead body, I'm still a human being,
That's right.
right?
It's true.
I don't know what
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
means.
But is he defeated upon falling?
I think so.
Yeah.
because he's stopped at that point.
yeah,
He's no longer
Okay.
moving, so he's
Okay.
yeah,
stopped.
mate.
That takes us to our semifinals. First, we have the Ceaseless Discharge versus Sonic with a Knife.
I don't think you can stab magma. However, Sonic could flash style run around him a bunch of times to put out the flames.
Mm-hmm.
Does he ever do that in like Sonic Frontiers or anything?
Yeah.
In Sonic Frontiers, he mostly just kind of falls off of stuff that only half exists.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. You kick a thing 3 times, and then it's like mysteriously you've been knocked all of the way off of this, and now you're on the ground again.
Just falling tens of stories to the ground.
I think we have to factor that in.
Yeah, but he does persevere.
I haven't played Dark Souls, but I have played Elden Ring. So Dark Souls, I imagine, as the sort of RPG stuff, right, where there's like stats and that like your equipment affects different stats. Stuff like
they got
that,
it all
right?
in there.
That happens.
Is there any sense of like power of friendship and whether ceaseless discharge might be weak to that?
I think the only power of friendship is like the notes you can leave, and that is just as likely to lead you astray.
Right.
Okay. Oh, that was in Dark Souls as well?
It wasn't
I
it?
don't know. I didn't play it. I'm asking.
They've had the notes system
Note system for a long
got
time.
it.
since
Cool.
Demon Souls, yeah.
Could you recruit a friend? Could you recruit a friend in that one? I think you could,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
You can do your
But
coops.
ceaseless discharge can't. But
He
Sonic,
can't.
you're suggesting maybe because Sonic is in Dark Souls rules now, he can recruit.
Sonic with the knife
Yeah.
is going to summon Sonic with a gun, aka Shadow.
Yeah, Sonic wins. Then we got Brownie versus the Noid.
No, not the Noid, Yo-Noid.
Noid.
No.
Because there's a big difference between claymation Noid and, gets his butt beat Yo-Noid. Yeah.
Well, Brownie is also fast, a higher FPS than Yo-Noid, and has a gun.
higher FPS. Like Yo-Noid's 60, but
Is
they're
it?
both 60. Come on.
Are they both 60?
Yeah.
You gotta love 60 FPS,
But
dude.
also, Yo-Noid cannot get away from the gun shot.
Yeah.
It's done. Like he's not gonna run up to Brownie with a yo-yo and kill him. Although it's one hit, right? So like,
Yeah.
It's true.
I think the Noid gets 3 and he has iframes. I think.
Oh, if he's got iframes, depends on how far apart
Yeah,
they
he
are.
might just be able to run up and get enough iframe in to just hit him once with the yo-yo, and then he's done.
Brownie's a lot faster.
Yeah, Brownie's gonna run away maybe, and then like turn around and shoot. Right? Yeah.
Surviving as Brownie requires a lot more agility, which suggests Brownie is a more agile character than
Contra
Yo-Noid.
Hardcore is a hard video game. The characters are made out of goddarn,
Paraffin.
they're made out of goddarn prop glass. They're made out of goddarn cowboy whiskey bottles in that game.
I think
Yeah.
what you have to factor in with Brownie is, yes, he is on paper a weak character, but within the canon and continuity of the game, he survives everything that's thrown at him. He's able to navigate all of it.
Well, that's true of Yo-Noid as well. Then.
Yeah.
But Yo-Noid,
correct.
the challenge that is demanded of Yo-Noid is much lower than the challenge demanded of Brownie.
He exists to sell a $50 video game that's going to sell $500 worth of pizzas ultimately.
Right.
He's a car salesman.
Yeah. Well, they can be dangerous. Like who's stuffing their wives into the back of car trunks and stuff? It's the used car salesman.
Oh, are you talking about Jerry Lundegaard? I know that guy.
I wasn't actually talking about anybody, but yeah.
Jerry
I
Lundegaard.
thought you were talking about the Noid.
That's right. That's what I was talking
I
about.
thought we were making a reference to Fargo.
I was saying that, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's Jerry Lundegaard.
Yeah. Well, I think that Brownie gets it.
I think so too.
Yeah, give it to the guy with the biggest, fastest gun.
That brings us to the Battle of the Speedsters. We got a knife-wielding Sonic versus a gun-wielding Brownie.
Something that we have had to get into before on this, and it's hard to establish, how many rings are there on the island? Because that's always important in this.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think Sonic walks into any confrontation where we assume Sonic is plucked from leisure. I believe Sonic has 50 rings, which is the minimum he needs for there to be
a continue point or whatever.
a bonus
Yeah.
game at the continue point.
Well,
So-
it's also the amount he needs to power up to Supersonic. Does he have his emeralds?
No, I mean, I don't think
does
he
not
has
have
the
his
That's
emeralds
too
unless
much.
otherwise specified.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. We do
We
if
do
we're
need to
making the
establish
rules
that.
here.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's correct.
Well, I think if Sonic's
Good
got
question.
rings, then he's good.
Yeah,
Because he's now Sonic's got the iframes. He's got a knife.
I also think there's a cluster of 3 rings at all times on Violence Island.
Yeah,
Mhm.
All right.
that seems
Yeah.
right.
If there's rings he can go and get, I think he's. So
It's only
yeah.
the 3. But yeah, he could probably.
All
cheese
he's
it.
got to do is touch this. He doesn't even need the
It's
knife.
true. He can just roll into a ball.
He bonks and destroys robots all over the place.
That's
He can just-
true.
What animal
He
comes
can
out of Brownie?
automatically home in on robots even.
Is it a
Yeah.
flicky? What comes out of Brownie? It's got to be a flicky because it's so small.
Well, also Brownie dies if like you touch him. You know,
Yeah.
like, Sonic could just run up and like lick him, and he
Yeah,
would
and
die.
Sonic does have a homing attack.
Yeah,
That's
and he's really fast at
Mhm.
licking.
Yeah.
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 Because he's a hedgehog.
Yeah.
Remember in the olden times before we were born, when that was a threat? I'll lick you good.
I don't because that was before.
I know it was before all of us were born.
Yeah.
But
I've seen some old films.
it's good times.
That's
All
like
right.
50s kids in New York, like
Mhm.
you know, dressed in.
Talking about-
They've got like
Put up
the-
your dukes.
Yeah, exactly. They've got their newsy hats and their.
Our first victor this season is Sonic the Hedgehog with a knife.
Sonic the Hedgehog with a knife.
Do we want to establish what kind of knife it is?
It's a Bowie knife,
It's a Bowie
obviously. Yeah.
knife. The only kind of knife to have.
Remember the Alamo, dude. Remember the goddarn Alamo, man.
All right. That's the episode. It's time for us to make our recommendations.
A recommendation.
Yeah, I got 2 recommendations. One of them is if you are a single person or a couple and you do not have any other family members living in your home,
Yeah.
you should adopt this dog that I've been fostering for 8 months that's very cute but has some behavioral things that need
BHT.
to be looked at. But he's actually, he's just a little guy. He's 12 pounds. He's a Chiweenie. He's cute as heck. He's maybe got a little Pomeranian in him. He's dumb as a brick. But he's a cute little nice little guy who wants to sit on your lap and sniff your ear and make little grunting sounds. If you live in the Bay Area, check out on Pet Finder in from the rescue underdog, a dog named Juice. And that's the dog.
Juice!
Yeah, Juice. This dog who it took us about 3 months to get him to figure out how to sit.
Yeah.
He figured out that his name was Juice in about 3 days.
Oh, that's good.
Juice was like it was his name. That's just what he was supposed to be.
Dogs are good at hearing K sounds, long, like very, very loud S sounds.
Yeah,
So if you named your dog like Josk,
that's right. So that's my recommendation is especially if you're in the Bay Area or anywhere in California, please try to adopt this dog.
take my dog.
Take my dog, please. And then I have one more, which is also something that my mom sent me. You know, you get these texts from your mom sometimes, and it's like, watch this video,
Not me.
and you will not be interested in it a large percentage of the time. However, this time, she texted me a YouTube video from a guy called Steve Stanchfield, who is preserving oldie-time cartoons. And he was, I was watching this one video about preserving Thunderbean Thursday, which is a Van Buren Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah, I know this guy. Yeah.
And it was really fun to watch. So I learned a little bit because the movie theaters would crop these in different ways depending on what kind of projectors they had, and they were cropped somewhat haphazardly. And so this guy was trying to take 2 crops, stitch them together so that you could get the full or as full of the frame as possible. And he was showing his techniques and like blending and getting rid of dirt and all this stuff. And then you get to watch the video, the little cartoon, and it was a fun cartoon with a fun song where these guys are talking about Zoop instead of soup, and it's got a song called Mean Music in it. It's very nice and fun. So check out Steve Stanchfield, Thunderbean Thursday, or whatever.
Well, and I mean, if you're a physical media person, thunderbeanshop.com, like he's been putting out Blu-rays of really intense restorations of public domain cartoons for a long time, and they are kind of sort of free on the internet, but I think he makes his money on the Blu-rays to do this work.
A good idea,
so
yeah. Good call.
Go check those out. Like, there's a ton of them. He's been doing it forever, and yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, and also these YouTube videos are like we're talking about less than 1,000 views on each of them. So
Yeah.
give him a look-see, give him a follow, etc. That's what I got.
I think he did a restoration of Dancing on the Moon kind of recently. You and I should check that out.
Awesome. Yes, we should.
That's our jam. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, that's what I got. Who's next? Was that your recommendation, kind of, Frank, also?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I was actually just looking at his shop instead of thinking about recommendations.
Yeah, tell Steve insert credit sent you, and he will have no idea what that means.
Right. Yeah, he'll respond with, "What did you want to buy something?"
Yes.
I have a private snafu Blu-ray for you. No, I don't think I have anything since last week.
I ain't got nothing, mate. You
know what? I had a pretty
I've
good
got
time.
to go to the bathroom is what I've got.
All right, then I'll do my quick recommendation, which is mini golf's pretty fun still. Kinda
That's
fun.
true.
Yeah.
So yeah, go play some mini golf.
Go to the mini golf and hit the ball real hard.
We
Blam.
went to Scandia in Cordelia.
Oh, Scandion Cordelia.
You didn't want to go to the one in like Milpitas or whatever? It's
I
closer.
don't know about that one. It was Amanda's birthday weekend, and she decided to just like be very demanding and specific, which was very cool. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
good.
like that. So it's like
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
go to this specific.
I wanna do this
Scandia.
thing.
Great. Yes. Good.
That's cool.
Yeah. We also got the you can get the arcade card, right? And then we just did the like unlimited for 4 hours. So it's like let's just play every Raw Thrills thing that came out in the last 11 years.
How were they?
They were fine.
Yeah.
I
That's what I'm
can't figure
talking
out this
about.
Batman game at all.
I like the Batman game. It's confusing.
I can't figure out how to like know who and how to shoot. It's too
I
fast.
feel like I figured it out, but maybe I didn't.
Okay.
Maybe
Maybe I didn't.
Well, I would like to recommend that people rate and review this show on iTunes and elsewhere. You could also support us on patreon.com/insertcredit, where you could become a patron to submit your own questions, get monthly bonus episodes, and more cool stuff. If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or personal message, you could do that too. Just email me at show@insertcredit.com and I'll be in touch soon. You could also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find videos of these episodes on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. Brandon, you have some video games.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is Hyper Gunsport. I believe it's on sale?
It's on sale right now. I don't know if it'll still be on sale in a few. It should be.
Yeah.
I think it will be.
And while you're buying Hyper Gunsport, put Demon School on your Steam wish list. Why not?
Wish listed.
Listen to the Video Game History Hour if you'd like to hear more from our own Frank Cifaldi.
That's me.
This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with original music by Kurt Feldman. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Tim Rogers.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And Mamma Mia, here we go.
It's a me, Charlieo.
Did you forget to find an ending?
I
quick?
sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.